Good evening, everyone. I'm Jackie Hastings, and I'm really excited tonight to be joined not only by all of you, but also co-leading with my friend Rachelle Ferman tonight for chapters 4, 5, and 6 in Don't Make It Weird. And so I have to admit I was a little behind on my reading, so I was power reading the other day, and it's so funny because reading through this book and all these internal dialogues, I swear that's what it sounds like in my head as well. Um, which it's nice to know that maybe the don't make it weird is making me not feel so weird about myself. Um, and I like it. Um so in the chapter 4, they're talking about facing the F word. And I was a little scared because there's some language in this book. I'm like, uh-oh. But it's not that. So the dialogue in her head is she's talking about like, you're ready to go, you've got all this plan, you're locked and loaded, and then all of a sudden, um, you're ready for smooth sailing and whatever. Then it doesn't go quite as planned. And it's about what about all the garbage sneaking in on your head and the what ifs, and will I face that head on, or will I let it steer me off course before I even set sail? And that's super common. How often do you get all ready to go? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then you talk yourself right out of it, which, doggone it, don't do that. So some of the reasons that we do that is because of fear. So, well, number one fear that they talked about was fear of success. Now, some people might think that sounds stupid, but fear of success is real. You've got this inner thermostat that says where you're kind of comfortable at. And when you start to do better than that comfort level, oftentimes you'll consciously or subconsciously self-sabotage yourself so that you're not above that, that you go below that because it's more comfortable there. And they call it like an upper limit problem, and it's real. It's been documented. They've done studies and all that science stuff on that. But if you recognize it and you name it, then you can tame it and make real action about it. So the next one, fear of being salesy. So how often do you guys go somewhere and you try a new food, or you find something on sale, or you've got a new tool in the kitchen, or excuse me, sourdough for the love? It seems like everybody in the world is selling sourdough, and you're not selling it to people, but you're talking about things that you like about that. There's nothing cheap or sleazy or anything like that unless you make it that way. So this is no different. These are products that work, it's opportunities that work, it's real people, it's real changes. you know, Again, name it, tame it, make action about it. And if you think that you're being salesy and creepy and gross, you probably are. So clean it up. Some of the things that we do too is, we had all of those sales last month and all of these discounts and all of that. Periodically go back through your page and make sure that you don't just look like one big ad for sales. Take those things down, that I want 3 friends. I'm trying to get some of that, some of those things. Go back periodically and take them down. So when you do post it again, it's new, it's big, it's different. So those are some tips on that. Then fear of people judging you. Um, as sometimes as we learn and grow, we learn that I don't really care what you mean. I don't have any makeup on right now. My hair is pulled back. You can see all my white hairs, and whoever doesn't like it, fooey on you guys, okay? I am what I am, and I'm learning to embrace that. So often the people that are judging us, it's not really us that's the issue, it's them. They're not confident in their own skin. They don't understand, and we can talk to them till we're blue in the face, but they still aren't going to get what we're doing or why or anything like that. So you've got nothing to prove to them. You be confident in your own skin and you keep moving forward. Those people who judge you are honestly the ones who can see that you're changing. And yeah, just like you were saying, Lauren, is they're intimidated because they're not growing, they're not changing. And if they give you a hard time, it might pull you back, and then they don't have you to be afraid of anymore. So they call it a tall poppy syndrome, where the tallest nail gets hammered down. If you're sticking out, they're going to knock you back down so that you fit in with all of the rest. It's okay to be that tall poppy or that sunflower or any of that kind of stuff. You have that sunshine in the back and you turn towards it and you let that fuel you and keep on growing. So I like this quote too. If you try to be for everyone, you'll end up being for no one. And that's pretty strong. Again, if you're not confident in your own skin and what you're doing and all of that, you have to work on your belief, or you're going to be more susceptible to being knocked down and letting those other people ruin that for you. Crystal clear on who you're talking to, and don't be distracted by the people you fear. People, we don't have to be afraid of people. There's other things in this world I am beyond to be afraid of. So, fear of being seen. So, if you're like me, you liked to kind of hide in the shadows. You kind of put the little things out there here and there, and then all of a sudden, somebody posts that you hit a rank, or you're doing this, or people are listening to, and you're like, "Oh crap! People see me and they're paying attention. I don't like that." Wait a minute. All of a sudden, and then you have to go, "Okay, that's all right." They're doing these things. And Steve, I was talking to him on the phone the other day, and he's like, people are noticing the things that I'm doing and they're asking me about it, not just on Facebook but in real life. I'm like, yeah. It's because you've been consistent, you're firm in your beliefs, you're doing these things, you're making differences for people and for yourself. Stand firm, and as long as you know you're doing the right thing and setting up a great foundation, it's okay to be seen. That's how you make a difference. The old nuns who used to teach us would say, dare to be different where it matters. And this is definitely something where we can do. And it's okay if after you've peopled, you need to go hide in your corner in the dark, rock back and forth. It's okay. I've done that too. So we can do those things. Just know where our limits are. Okay, fear of money. So last night when I was reading about this, it reminded me of a call I did. I posted it in our team page. Money isn't a bad thing if you think about it as like an energy exchange or a tool. Um, Energy and tools are not inherently bad. It's how you use them and what your focus is for them. But sometimes when you haven't had money and all of a sudden you have money, or people see that you're earning money, or so many of us, like when we hit a first rank and people are like, congrats on your bonus, you're like, don't put that on there. I don't want people to know them. And it's okay. We get over that. We coach you through it, and it's okay. We're all making money doing different things. You don't feel bad for going to your job. Don't feel bad for doing this. So, um, those were some good tips on those. Um, And then on page 69, I like the question, what would you do for yourself and others if you had all the money you desired? Who would you impact, and how would that make you feel? So focusing on that when you're starting to feel weird about any of these things is a really, really great idea. And I would encourage you to take some time and do some free writing, and excuse me, think about those things. So that brings up chapter 5. Let me remember the name of it. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's all right. Oh, here's where I call you on your BS. Okay. So one of our instructors back in college, Dr. Studier, he used to, or actually, there were several that actually had said this. Falzer said it too. If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with BS. So, but that's only going to get you so far. So, people will call us on it, and we need to call ourselves on it too. So, um, I loved this quote. The majority of people have convinced themselves that their excuses are their reality. How many times do you tell yourself what you can't do and where you're at and everything negative that you are and cannot become? I'm too fat, I'm too ugly, I'm too old, I didn't have enough college, I don't have enough time, I don't have some strange man walking behind me while I'm on book club. It's okay. All of these things that are in our head, we tell ourselves, and we tell ourselves, or you know what? Oh, my parents didn't go to college, or I didn't have this growing up, or I live in the middle of the woods, or I don't fit in, or when I would see Courtney Stoser when I first started, and she's got these beautiful white bedrooms and all this stuff, and everything's perfect, and her hair is perfect and all that. I'm like, Yeah, I don't fit in with this. I don't belong here. Well, you know what? We all belong here. And thank God we're all different, or it would be really boring. Um, so turn those excuses into a statement and then get over them. They don't have to be a reality. So the first one, I'm afraid people won't like me. Well, you know what? There's going to be somebody that doesn't like you. Who cares? Are we going to allow that to rule our lives? Where is our focus? So when you're worried about if somebody doesn't like you, um, don't let it consume you because it's not really that important. But if you think that maybe you're doing something that isn't quite right, talk to some of your trusted friends and companions or leaders or whoever you have good faith and trust in and talk to them about that. And if you're off kilter, they're going to tell you, they're going to rein you back in, and that's okay. You know, you need friends that can call you on your BS just as much as pat you on the back. And, you know, as leaders that and we're friends, sometimes that's hard to do, but we do it and they're not mad. You know, I've done that with Rachelle, I've done that with other people. Elizabeth has done it with me. I do it at school with people all the time. And, you know, the other day I just had to, you know, talk to my coworker and say, hey, I'm sorry that you're upset or that I'm feeling you're upset by this statement, but it is what it is. Um, and she's like, I said, it's not fair of me to be upset with you if I don't tell you how I'm feeling. So we had a quick discussion and we moved on. It's not a big deal. If you have a mature sense and emotional stability, you can do those things and go forward. You don't have to be a jerk about it. Be kind, but go forward from there. So there's also I'm just fill in the blank. I'm just a housewife. I'm just a 20-year-old. I'm just a mom. I'm just, you know, the lunch lady. I'm just blah blah blah. Well, instead of just take the just out of there and say I am a. And you know what? All of those things have amazing power within them. It's so easy to think that we're boring and have nothing to add. And I loved the exercise where they had you write down all of the boring things that you did during the day or all the things that were boring, even from lunch to the errands you ran or what you look forward to. You guys, I don't know all of you. I don't know what you have to add value, add. So talk about things because you're going to help someone. You know, even just the stupid fly traps that I was posting about the other day. Flies are gross. They creep me out. If somebody had some ideas, I wanted to hear about them. There's things that all of us have to add value that seem to be the most mundane. But they're going to add value to somebody else because there's other people that are in the kinds of shoes that you're in. So I'm too fat or I'm too ugly or I'm too dumb. You know, whatever negative thing you painted your own billboard for, stop apologizing for that. Oh, I'm sorry, but I don't have it together today, but stop that. You're already degrading yourself, and that's not what we do. You can be honest. We see people as a whole being, but stop pointing out all of your bad qualities. It's so easy. In fact, I was talking with somebody at school the other day, and you know, if I said, you know, Kat, I'm gonna pick on you because you knew if I had you, yay, you're awesome. Kat just started with us and she's going to be huge. So we're gonna give her some major kudos. See how she does with me harassing her. But if I were to say, Kat, I want you to tell me all of the terrible things about you. You could probably list off all the things you don't like about yourself. I don't want you to do it right now. I don't want you to do it. But if I were to say you do that, boom, a list pops up. But if I say, Kat, can you tell me all the amazing things about yourself? You're gonna be like, yeah, crap. Now I've got to say some things. And why is it so much harder to say those good things about ourselves than the negative? So definitely don't focus on those things. So the I'm too busy. And Steve, was this what you were laughing about the other day? Is the I'm too busy part? Um, you know, you're likely giving energy to the things that don't really matter. Yeah. How often are we wasting our time on stupid stuff? Or, you know, even my daughter occasionally now will be doing something and then I get distracted and she'll go shiny or squirrel. I'm like, stop it, you turkey. But sometimes we need somebody to help pull us back in. And, you know, when we start doing something, it's so easy to go in 75 other directions. working on that focus, or if you're realizing that you're doing those things, pause, do it, come back to it so that you can be more focused. It kind of goes, you have to sacrifice a little bit, and it goes back to some of the Dave Ramsey stuff where he talks about live like no one else does now, so later you can live like no one else. So yeah, you know what? Sending out messages to people or doing your IPA or sometimes reading or whatever isn't always glamorous. It isn't always the most fun, but is it going to get you closer to your goal? Heck yeah. So it's definitely worth it. So looking at those cost benefit ratios are often something we need to do when things start to get shiny. So the F fonts, become unafraid of being yourself. It's a process of learning, and all done, or excuse me, when you've done all the work, then they pull back and throw a punch. Oh, I hate that. So like sometimes you get somebody all set up. I've got this wonderful package. We've talked about all of these things. You go to get them signed up and then they disappear. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. Seriously, you're like, man, I just put all this work in helping you out, and I know there's going to be a great fit. And then I spent so much time on this. It's not about you. Stop it. You just made it about you. So you need to pause, see why they're pausing, and come back. So, encourage them, say, remember, oh, you know what, Tracy, you were all ready to go for this. What is holding you back at this point? It's not about you. What did I screw up in this process? No, it's not about you. It's about that person. So definitely keep going for it. Encourage them to do that. So, and again, the free writing on here, what's your BS story? And what I would encourage you to do is find a couple of people. One of them is going to be your leader, of course, but also somebody else who can you can share your BS story with, of what's holding you back, so that when they see you call or doing your BS, that they can call you on it and help redirect you. So I'm going to leave off with that, mute myself, and let Rachelle speak now. Thanks, guys.
Oh my gosh, that was so good, Jackie. Thank you for sharing. So, chapter 6 is learning to live outside your comfort zone. So, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about our comfort zone. Do you know that it lies to you? Like your comfort zone tells you, stories, makes things in your head to keep you there. Like it doesn't want you to grow. It doesn't want you to step outside. And that's where the growth happens, is outside your comfort zone. So a lot of this kind of takes what Jackie says, and we're going to apply it to our growth zone, how to move past our comfort zone, how to, push our limits a little bit, and then a little bit further. So what hopes and dreams do you have in your life? And what does your comfort zone say about those hopes and dreams? Are they telling you that, this is too hard, I don't have enough time? A lot can be working for yourself, is hard. You can turn this around and say, yes, it takes discipline, growth, and mindset challenges, but the financial time and financial freedom are completely worth it. And the impact you can have on others is worth it as well. If we stayed in our comfort zone, we would, where would we be 5 years from now? Where would we be 10 years from now? Would we be accomplishing the things that we want to accomplish if we stayed put? Or if we step out and, push ourselves, do things that are a little bit uncomfortable, that make us grow, are we going to be ahead? Are we going to, achieve those hopes and dreams that we have? Another lie is being bold and authentic and going against the norm, leaves us vulnerable. But it allows us to help so many and change lives. If we stayed away from this authenticity and vulnerability, we would not give others the freedom to show up as their true selves and ask for the help they need and feel like it's a safe space. So again, stepping out of that comfort zone, being vulnerable, allowing yourself to be raw in front of people, that's going to give them the opportunity to be raw with you. That's going to give them the courage to ask you. If you stayed back in your comfort zone and didn't allow yourself that vulnerability, think of all the other people that would be afraid to come to you. Like you wouldn't be that safe space to bless them with. So, the comfort zone tells us all these different lies, and we need to, recognize that it's a lie and rewrite the script. Um, so here's an interesting one. So Jackie alluded to this a little bit too, is what do your lies tell you about making lots of money? So I struggled with this a ton when I first started, because growing up, I came from a, hardworking family. We were very blessed. We were, we never went without. And we were always taught, just, what more do you need? You have a roof over your head. You have food on the table. Be grateful for what you have. You don't need extra. You don't need to be one of those people. Like you had all this like negative junk, at least I did growing up. So when I thought about like, oh my goodness, what, going to Diamond, like that is so much money. Like I don't need that in my life, like I thought about it being greedy, being selfish. Like this is, outside of my comfort zone. This, didn't, these were lies I told myself and didn't let me dream. So I really had to work on dreaming bigger of, what could be, right? Like, well, what if I get sick and I have to leave work for an extended period of time? What's going to happen to our financial situation? You know, what if my husband gets sick? What if one of my children gets sick and I have to stay home? Like, how is that going to, what am I going to do with that? What am I going to do if that happens? So I really struggled with making money for a long time. But then Brittany Howard gave a speech at Ruby Retreat a couple years ago that really spoke to my heart. She was talking about what it's like to be a Christian, making money. Like, why do we have hard time, with this? And she says in some cultures, they look and view as making money as how many people you have blessed in your life. And then, making money isn't the enemy, it's what we do with it. And if we align that with our values, such as, community, one of my dreams is my dream house. I want a pool. I want a house big enough to like have all my family come home, like my grandkids, and, host events for, you guys, our Plexus team. Like family and community is huge to me. So to have the money to purchase a house that would fit this need is not bad, right? Like it's serving a purpose. I am doing this for others. Another value of mine is service. I'm huge into my community. I love my service organizations onto that I belong to. And to be able to make a huge donation to that, rather than like $100 a year, what if I could do like $10,000 a year? Like that's huge, to have that amount of impact in the local Zonta, but also our international Zonta community. Or, that's going to make a bigger impact. My friend from college, she has a daughter who was born with cerebral palsy, and she has a foundation called Ireland's Dream. And I give to that every year, but what if I could give more? What if I could give, $10,000 a year to that? What impact would that make in moving her needle forward and accomplishing what she wants to accomplish? So if you're using the money to, work within your values to help others, to impact lives, that's a good thing. Like you can't do that if you don't have money, right? So, we all have these lies about money. But really the truth is money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure can help, right? Like, can make your life a little more comfortable. And if you tell that to somebody who doesn't have money, you might get slapped in the face because, they're struggling without the money, they're struggling without food, and they're looking at you going, yeah, it's easy for you to say when you have a roof over your head. So, money doesn't buy happiness, but it does make your life comfortable, and it allows you to give and impact others as well. So going into from that, moving into like debt, she talks a lot about, there's good debt and there's bad debt. Like if you just for the heck of it go out and buy a sports car just because, that may not be the wisest use of your money. But if you're investing into your business to help you grow, and the return on investment is going to be high and worth it, like, that's worth, taking on. Now, it talks about, with your business taking on some debt, to grow your business. you guys, Plexus, we're so blessed. We don't have to take on any debt. Like $10 to start your business, and then your products, like how easy is that? And you can have the return on investment immediately. If you have 3 friends that join you within your first month, you're going to make over $300 and some months more, depending on the incentive. So that return on investment is, what was that, 30-fold? If you do the math, within, the first 30 days. So that's huge. Not only is it the return on investment and the $10, but you're 3 months of your product paid for too. With that. So luckily, that doesn't apply so much to us. And as far as our income goes with Plexus, like we do not have a cap on our income. You can rank all the way to the top of the company as diamond and then re-enter again and then rank all the way back up to diamond again if you wanted to, and do that as many times as you want. So there's really no cap to what we have, unlike when we traditional going to college, the debt that we accumulate in college loans and then being capped off, in your career after about 10, 15 years when inflation keeps going up. Like we don't have that opportunity. So a couple things I wanted to read to you guys, because these are things that I struggled with some of the journaling, is what does your soul know to be true about what you desire? So I'm going to be a little vulnerable here. I'm going to write down what I journaled because this is something that have been working on, for the last 3 years. It has taken me a long time to get here, but I am worthy of success. I have not always been able to say that. I am worthy to have my family taken care of. Why should my family struggle just because I'm afraid to make money, right? I am worthy to have a backup plan for the what ifs. I am worthy of having multiple streams of income. I am worthy to decide how I want to spend my day and my time. I am worthy of not living paycheck to paycheck and with debt. I am worthy to be able to give to my organizations that I am passionate about. And I am worthy to use my money to fit my values of family, community service, and impacting others. So I thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I am going to open it up and see who would love to share. And if you did some journaling, if you want to be vulnerable too, we would love to hear it.
So I just want to jump in and say I loved that last quote or sentence out of chapter 6. People are watching, so you might as well succeed and give them a heck of a show. Because yeah, I mean, like I've seen just recently with people that I didn't know were commenting, or actually they weren't commenting or anything on my posts or liking, and then they walk up to me in church and go, "Hey, that stuff you're doing, does that help with weight loss?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's chat." So yeah, I mean, like you said, Rachelle, we are worthy of success, and let's step out of the shadows. I'm a recovering wallflower myself. I would prefer to just be in the background, but um, let your light shine, succeed, and let's give the world that's watching us um, something to cheer for.
Oh my goodness. Yes, Steve. And that's huge. It's huge. Um, you've had so much personal growth, and that's one of the really cool things too about our team and about Plexus too, is we have these book clubs, we have these team calls, we have all of these things to help us grow as ourselves and as leaders. And um, if I looked at you 2, 3 years ago, there's no way people were coming up to you doing that because you were not doing these. So it's an opportunity that we can give others by giving ourselves the opportunity to allow ourselves to grow. So super cool.
So I have a few things. I took some notes, but going kind of off of that, I thought it was really funny how in that same sort of section, she was like, starting something new like this, and you are like afraid of people seeing you, and it's kind of like you're bringing your friends and your all these people in your inner circle to work with you every day. Like you're trying to figure out how to show up on social media in front of everybody, but you feel like people are hearing your telephone voice. You know what I mean? Like when you're on the phone talking to people. So I think it was a good reminder of like, you're not just showing up for the people in your inner circle, you're also showing up for the people that you're trying to reach outside of them to help them, for us to help them with their health, right? And we don't know what everybody's going through. So it's important to still show up, even if we feel uncomfortable because our, person from high school is friends with us on Facebook or Instagram too. So I thought that was a really good reminder. I feel like I resonated with so much of the stuff that she said in these 3 chapters, and probably all of us did. We're all like, oh my gosh, this feels familiar to me. And I think that especially like just reminding ourselves to get outside of our comfort zone is super, super important too, because it's easy, especially for those of us that have, advanced degrees. I know it's like, okay, I have this physical therapy degree. This is like a comfortable, normal job, but that does not mean that that's where I need to stay. And there's a lot I can do outside of that can reach a lot of people in a really cool, different way too. So I just thought that like I kind of want to re-listen to the chapters again and just soak it all in even more and just remind myself, and it's probably good for all of us to remind ourselves consistently that like just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And we need to be showing up. And I know I recently talked to Jackie and Elizabeth about like I don't know what to post about right now. This is me being vulnerable with you guys because I'm like, I always post about my daughter and I waited so long to have her. And so now I'm like, this is all that I do. She's the only thing that I do when I'm not at work. So I have work to post about or her to post about. And I don't know that I want her face everywhere on social media, all these different things. And I was like, I just don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out who I am outside of being a mom now. And Jackie was like listing all these things that I could add value for, things that are about me. And I'm like, thank you for just listing those out because you kind of forget. But also, it was a good reminder like, even our mundane stuff is going to add value to people because people can relate to us going to the grocery store and picking up produce or like, I don't know, looking like this because we were sick today when we went to work. Like just being your normal self is going to attract and draw in the people that you want it to draw in anyway. And it's going to make you approachable and people are going to feel like they know you. And that is adding value in and of itself. Sometimes I feel like maybe you guys can relate to this if you know Emily Granat and you see her posts and they're like so eloquent and beautifully written. And I'm like, I need to add value like that. Like, what important thing do I have to say today? And that's not me. I just need to realize that's not me. It's not gonna necessarily always be me. So find your voice, be yourself, and that's how you're gonna start attracting more people anyway, because they're gonna feel like it's the genuine you.
Oh, Lauren, thank you for sharing all of that. It's so true. And we all go through these different phases of our lives where we're like, yeah, we're on. Then you're like, crud, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. And then kind of we're like, wait a minute, now what am I doing? I'm like, gosh, I was looking, you've got all these wonderful things. And I'm like, I don't know about any of this stuff. Tell me about it. And just showing up as our real selves. We had an author come to school the other day. His name's Jonathan Rand. Actually, it's Christopher something is his real name, but his pen name's Jonathan Rand. He writes the Michigan Chillers. He's got, that store there just in Mackinac City. So he does those, the American Chillers, and some something for now our first grade hero or whatever. But he talked about what he started off in actually was radio. He got hired to do these radio ads, and he talked about how, when you hear a radio ad, they're like, tell me like this, blah, 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 and you hear that stupid tone and you immediately change the channel. And he said, you know what? I realized that I had to be more authentic and show up differently because the stupid radio voice people turn off. And we have to do that too. We have to show up as ourselves and not the stupid radio voice or super duper perfect, because people are going to be switching and not it. And even for some of these people who write these big long things that are so eloquent, my squirrel brain stops reading halfway through and goes on to the next one. So don't spend all of your time making the most beautiful reels, the most beautiful this, the most wonderful. Of course, you don't want it to look like garbage, but show up as authentically you. Because think about Kat, who's on here new. She doesn't know how to do all of this new stuff. And if we say and we show up as everything all magical, she's like, crap, I don't know how to do this. I don't belong here. I can't do this. We don't want anybody to feel like that, because it's not true. Anybody can do this as long as you're showing up as yourself on a daily basis. So those are all wonderful things. Thank you, Lauren.
And we all,
Another,
oh, sorry.
sorry, Rachelle, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, like, we all have these amazing, beautiful, unique qualities. We shouldn't be trying to be like other people. Like, let your own unique qualities shine, be authentic, be who you are. You guys, if you know me at all, I am not technology advanced at all. I do not know how to do a reel. I do not know how to do Canva. My graphics are terrible. Like, that's just me. So I'm not going to be like that person. That doesn't mean I'm not going to learn one day. I just haven't taken the time to learn it yet. And it's just, they're not elaborate. I'm real. I'm to the point. This is my life. This is how I show up every day. And I sprinkle in a little gut health and a little bit of happiness and a little bit of potential in there too. So, just show up and make those connections, who you are.
Okay, I'm still good. You didn't say anything I was going to say. So, but it is on the same point. So we're supposed to be in our stories, we're supposed to be showing up on social media every day. So this is what I look like 99% of my life. My hair is brushed, that's it. No makeup, sweatpants. I've got toddlers at home. And if I didn't show up in my stories like this, I would literally never show up in my stories. Like if I waited until my hair was done and my makeup was done, that might happen once every 2 weeks. And that's just not going to cut it. I can't, I mean, I could, I guess, make the content, but that just would not make any sense. It's just not realistic. So that, and I hate these headphones in my ears. I can't hear myself talk. It makes me crazy. Okay, so now I can hear. Showing up like authentically, the accounts that I follow are ones that I can relate to, just kind of like you guys were mentioning too. But most of them are moms who, Lauren, you said you talk all about Alette. I feel that so hard. And every time you post a story like, sorry, here's the baby spam, I love it. And I know that other moms in the same stage of life love it. And they're like, oh, this mom, all she does all day long is take pictures of her baby and she wants to show people. That's what I do. She also does this. Like, oh, it's just like a relatable thing. So, you do have tons of other value to add. And I relate to not wanting to post your baby's face all over the place, but still having the urge to want to because they're so cute. But yeah, my point to all of that was it's okay if you look less than what you think is presentable, or if you aren't eloquently spoke, if that's even the way you're supposed to say it. I don't know. Just hop on your stories, hop on there live and talk. And the more you do it, people will learn. They'll just learn about you, get to know you. And that's kind of how you build a brand too. So if you just show up consistently as yourself, that's your brand, that's you. So that's what I just wanted to share.
So true, Jade. And you do a beautiful job with your showing up as you and how you parent and your parenting style, your baby-led weaning, like everything is so authentically you. And I love following you. Even though I don't have little babies at home, I love seeing the little babies because they're all my little babies. I just want to squeeze them all.
I agree. I could take all the babies all day long, and I'm way beyond that phase of life. But there's so much more than just like posting about your baby, right? There's these are the diapers that we found work really well. The Costco ones are great and they save money. And this is the book we read to help us learn how to help our daughter sleep. And this is like how the book we're following to help her know how to eat, like Jade does baby led weaning. Like there's just so much stuff. So much stuff. It's actually I feel it's not harder when they're older, but it's just so different when they're older. And then it's really like, how much do I really want to put details of my teenager's life on social media? That's like a little more like, how do I figure this out? You know, it's that next phase and stage of figuring that part out too, but there's still plenty to talk about. So yeah, I love this book. I love how it systematically is just going through, you know, a lot of limiting beliefs that are common to struggle with, that it goes through having that foundation of having our why, and that it really talks about getting out of our comfort zone and just, you know, like I love the journaling throughout. I think that's brilliant of her. And she just does such a great job. I mean, the language is a little harsh at times, like grating at times, I guess I would say, but her points are so good that I choose to look past that. So anyway, good job, you guys. Love this book. Love the discussion.
Super good discussions tonight. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? Going once. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much. Welcome to our new people, and thank you for continuing to hop on our old people. I don't want to say old people because that just makes me feel old. So have a great night, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon.